Hi, welcome to the Winds of Jupiter love reading. I'll first be doing a tarot love reading, and then I'll be doing a Lenormand card love reading. Now I know you're not familiar with the Lenormand cards, so I'll walk you through it. And then after that I'll be doing a I Ching reading that's associated to the two previous readings. Now let me explain my tarot love reading and how it works. First of all, I go card by card until I find the Two of Cups or the Lover's card, or any court card from your sign. For example, Cups for Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. And then I look for the card that's associated to your sign too, such as Virgo for Hermit and Cancer for Chariot. And I put it up here, and then it depicts the overall feeling of the reading. It's overseeing the reading. Now I'm doing my Know Thyself or Know Yourself reading. I gave it this moniker so it's easy to remember. But the main cards are What You Know, What Is or Can Be Yours, and Self or Self-Awareness, and then the Future card. Now each card has a clarification card along with it, and I'm using the Hanson-Roberts deck. And now on with the reading. Hi there, Virgo. I thought I would mix things up a little bit and do a love reading for June. I know the folks in the Northern Hemisphere are looking forward to summer and for things to sprout and grow. And those in the Southern Hemisphere are turning on the heat and cuddling up. And I thought this was an opportune time to do a love reading. Now I know many of the signs have had difficult times through this 2017, and especially Virgo, but I see a light in the tunnel. I think you folks have felt like you've been the beat red-headed stepchild, and I do apologize if there's a beat red-headed stepchild watching this, but things are going to get better. Now for your spread, I was looking for either the Hermit, the Lovers, or the Two of Cups card, or any Pentacle Court card. Now I don't know how this happened, but the Hermit was the very first card, and I don't know if my fingers slipped or what, but it just literally flew out of the deck onto the table. So it wanted to come out. The Hermit takes things to existential levels. He wants you to shed fruitless emotions and desires and go within yourself on an unaccompanied journey to preclude chaotic distractions of the outer world so you can take a real good look inside yourself. You want to do some self-discovery. You want to change your unconscious self and connect it to your conscious foreself. You're seeking wisdom, enlightenment, illumination, which in Latin means spiritual enlightenment. But personal soul searching is a very painful exercise. And I know Virgos are very wise people. They're very hardworking, very detail-oriented. But you've missed something in the big picture, and I've felt that for a very long time. Now over on the left, for What You Know, you receive the Four of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. The Four of Swords is a time of respite from conflict. You're convalescing, and there's going to be new and more challenges coming up. It's kind of like a pseudo post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's been striking you for quite a while, as I mentioned. Now in the medieval days, the knights were required to buy their own tomb before they went out on campaigns, just in case they didn't make it through alive. And in the Rider-Waite cards, there's a knight laying on his tomb, wondering what life is about. What's the meaning of life? What is the purpose of his life? Why did he live and some of his companions die? You've had some troubling questions that have bothered you for a while, problems that need to be opened up and answered. Now the clarification card, the Seven of Pentacles, is what I call coming to harvest card. It's like everything is almost ripe and you're ready to harvest, but this is a time where something can go wrong. And you might not see the bounty of the fruits of your labor if you're not vigilant. This is a time where your hard work should pay off. But I have a feeling for some reason that whatever you've been seeking has just slipped through your fingers. And you haven't received rewards from your hard work. And I know Virgos just love to be loved, and sometimes that just isn't what happened. And I think you've suffered some unnecessary setbacks. So it's really time to take a chill pill and take a good look at what you're doing, because that's what the Four of Swords is telling you. Now the center cards for what is or can be yours, we see the Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. Now the Four of Swords has to be connected to the Four of Pentacles. And now that you've sat back and thought about things and what will make you happy in your life, you're at the Four of Pentacles where you're holding on to something. It's called the Miser card, but it's not that you're an uncharitable person. It's that you haven't wanted to give some things up that are no longer serving you anymore. Now for some of you Virgos, it's been play now and pay later in your life. And there's other of them that are paying now and will be playing later. Many people think it's better to be rich and unhappy than poor and unhappy, but it depends on what you think wealth is. Now the clarification card, the Eight of Pentacles, says that you've graduated from the Seven of Pentacles next door to the Eight of Pentacles, where you're actually being rewarded for your success. You've put your nose to the grindstone and now reap some harvest. And it also says you're a very talented and skilled person. Or as the old joke says, that you're a farmer outstanding in your field. And yeah, you are a Virgo. When you're building something, you don't measure once or twice. You measure 3 times to make sure it's right. But sometimes you overlook the big picture and what's happening and focus on the small details. And I don't think you've focused on your own happiness. You've worried more about other people and the collective than yourself. And you have to love thyself before you can love anybody else. It's not selfish to love yourself. And I know Virgos are more givers than takers, and every relationship has a giver and taker. And the funny thing is that it's so unbalanced all the time. There's too much giving on one side and too much taking on the other. And I think you found yourself being the massive giver in a relationship. Now up on the right, for yourself and self-awareness, receive the Moon and the Chariot. Now I think you've been hiding from yourself. You've been deceiving yourself that, oh yeah, everything is okay. I think there's even some simmering resentment coming in now, shadowy feelings, and even some sorrow. You realize now that things are not what they seem. It's a big facade. And maybe it's your fertile imagination bringing out some feral emotions from past memories and even now present confusion. Now the clarification card, the Chariot, is telling you not to be a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You got to get everything on the same page, on the good guys page, and wear the white hat. Because the Chariot's about duality. The card itself even says that. You see the yin and yang symbol on the front of the Chariot? And normally all the cards have a white and black beast of burdens. The Chariot wants you to dispense with your shadow self and find your real positive person that's inside you. It's going to make the right decisions because the Chariot is also about strength and willpower of making the right decisions. And I think you're getting there. There is a light in the tunnel because the future card is the Sun card. There is a new day dawning now. You're seeing things now with crystal clear clarity that you haven't seen before. All of a sudden, the darkness of the moon that was in your awareness is now gone, and the sun is rising. The warmth of its lifeline rays are on your face. Things are changing. And now you're on the road to hope and healing. It's like you struck gold. And the clarification card is the Queen of Swords. Well, she's a cut and dried person. I tell you, she makes her decisions with intellect and no emotions. And I think this is what she's telling you, is to start shedding some of the emotions that have been in the backdrop for all of your decisions. The Queen of Swords holds the sword of truth. She can see when somebody's lying and bluffing, and also see 3 or 4 moves ahead. And this is where Hermit comes into the picture. The Tao Master Lao Tzu said knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. And mastering others is strength. And mastering yourself is true power. I pulled another clarification card for the future, and you receive the Knight of Pentacles. Now he's the slowest knight in the court, and he's telling you to slow things down. You don't have to rush into anything. But this is personifying you. Pentacles, Earth, Virgo. And now you're growing up, and you're having the sun shine on you for the future. I put out a sample spread of the Lenormand cards so you can see what they look like. Now the tarot deck has 78 cards in it, and the Lenormand decks have between 36 and 39. Now I'm using Under the Roses deck, and that has 39 in it. I'll be laying out 18 cards, 9 on the top and 9 on the bottom. And every card has a word translation, and then I'll be putting it together to make a sentence. And I'll show you all of the translations as subtitles. And then I'll read you the sentences, and after that I'll put the sentences on slides so you can read them yourself. Now let me explain the difference between the tarot cards and the Lenormand cards. The tarot cards are your response to a certain situation, and it's more emotional and psychological. Where the Lenormand cards give you real-time action of what is happening. The tarot cards are about emotion, and the Lenormand cards are dispassionate, and it goes on from subjective to objective, verbs to nouns, psychological to physical, feeling to seeing, participant to spectator. The tarot cards will tell you why your husband left you because he had mother issues. The Lenormand cards will tell a woman why her husband isn't home because he's at the bar having a few beers. And a lot of times these Lenormand cards can put things into a sequence of time. Not all the time, but sometimes. So let's see what comes up in your reading. Okay, I laid out your 18 cards for your Lenormand love reading, and I translated every card into a word and then made 2 sentences out of it. Now the first sentence says something about insightful journey and love and discoveries. And I think he was meaning the Hermit for the insightful journey. And then it says something about pleasant distractions. Now the moon brings distractions, and that brings a harvest of understanding. And the sun brings insight and understanding, and so does the Queen of Swords. And then the next sentence says about a peaceful home, growth and knowledge and curious karma. And I'm relating that to the Hermit. So now I'm going to put up the words as subtitles, and you can stop the video and study them if you'd like. And I'm going to read the sentences, and then after that, you can read the sentences on the slides that I present. Now here's the sentences. Insightful journey brings love and discoveries with pleasant distractions from a vision for the harvest of understanding. Peaceful home brings discoveries, growth, and companionship from obscure knowledge for curious karma. That's an interesting sentence. And now after the slides, there'll be a I Ching reading. And I wish you acceptance, peace, and happiness.